currently serving as the fundraising committee chair for Citizens for Schools and Community.
Hello, my name is Lori Johnson. I have lived in Florence for 33 years. I've raised 3 boys here. 2 are in their 30s and graduated quite a few years ago. Wow. And I currently have a senior at Siuslaw High School. So we just came to answer as many questions as we possibly can. And if we can't get an answer for you today, we are happy to go find that answer and then connect back with you and communicate it to you.
Thanks, Lori. So we do have a presentation for some of the things we want to talk about. Let me see it over here.
Yeah.
I think visuals are going to be helpful, but this doesn't have to be super formal. So if you have questions or there are things you want to know about, please interrupt us. I know you don't want to hear me talking at you for 20 minutes. Please interrupt. But what we're here to do today is to give community information about the bond that you'll be seeing on your ballots this May, and hopefully share some more with you about why this particular bond is so important for our students and our community, and why it's so important that we get it done now. And Lori, you just let me know when you want the mic.
Okay.
So this started over 2 years ago. The school board for Siuslaw created what was called the Facilities Advisory Committee. It was made of, I think, 18 community members, a full cross-section. And let me just ask, how many of you have heard a presentation about the bond before? Okay, so I can skim through a lot of this. So we've been working on this for 2 years. We have looked at it from every angle. We have considered doing nothing, renovating the high school. We've looked at all possible options, and last fall, after doing community outreach that many of you have maybe attended, we decided on a recommendation to the school board, which we presented in January, and they approved our recommendations. So today I'm going to give you an update on what's actually going to be on the ballot. Questions so far? Okay.
So Laurel,
Yeah.
many of us have been to community outreach
Back at last fall?
back last fall. Yeah.
Okay, so
Tom came and our principal of high school.
Mike Merkel wrote.
Mike. So that's where I think we had all that information.
Okay,
Not
so
so
it's
much about
it's
the bond.
new. It's new and improved. So
Yeah.
after we did the community outreach, we took suggestions from community members, from the city, things we were hearing, and we used that when we were crafting our final recommendation to the board. So you've probably seen these. These are the main issues at the high school that were focused on by the professionals and tradesmen that we had review all of our district facilities. That was what started the Facilities Advisory Committee, is these professionals looked at every building in the district. For the high school, really it's an aging building. It was not built well. All of the major systems are inadequate. They are failing. We have a Korean War era boiler that has resulted in online distance learning for 4 days in December because we couldn't find the parts to fix it and couldn't keep the building. Safety and security issues. There are at least 17 separate entrances in the high school. It is what we unfortunately have to call a pre-Columbine era floor plan. The high cost of maintenance and utilities, if you guys have not heard this number, so there's a pooled fund for maintenance for the whole school district. So it covers the elementary school, the middle school, the high school, the alternative school, transportation, the district office. The high school takes 40% of that budget just to keep its doors open. And it's because it's old, because it has these inadequate and failing systems. Structural upgrades, you may have heard us talk about. The high school was built in 1970. The first seismic building codes didn't hit the books until 1973. So it is not structurally safe if we have any kind of seismic event. Capacity issues, we're using spaces that were never meant to be classrooms. We don't have a lot of room for growth for our students. They're not in comfortable learning spaces. They're not in spaces that are adequate for modern education. No kitchen or cafeteria. Kitchen's not such a big deal. No cafeteria, though, means that high school students have to go off campus for lunch. And you can imagine how many of them just don't come back after lunch. And so attendance in the period right after lunch is not great. And just a lack of basic amenities. We have things that are, you wouldn't even think about needing to think about that are issues at our school. ADA compliance issues that were add-ons later. Bathroom stalls that have giant gaps and insufficient privacy, insufficient bathroom stalls. The locker rooms for our athletes, the female locker room is significantly smaller and they're not updated. Just basic things that our kids need to be comfortable. We lack a lot of that in high school. We also found some issues at the elementary school. And the high school is such a big issue, I think the elementary school gets overshadowed, but there are some significant issues there. And the main one is, well, one of the main ones is the kindergarten buildings. So we went to full-day kindergarten in 2014, 2015, and we didn't have enough space to house all the kindergartners full day. So we brought in a portable building, which is currently housed at the north end of the elementary school, and there will be some graphics shortly. But it's reaching the end of its shelf life. The portables only last between 12 and 14 years, and we're on year 11. So we would really like to be able to bring our students into permanent classrooms before we have to decommission that building and it becomes an emergency. Classroom functionality, the south end of the elementary school is the oldest building in the district. It was built in the 1960s, and it doesn't function for modern instruction for our kids. It's not structurally up to date. There are some serious safety issues with transitions between the buildings, so you'll see on a graphic in a minute, but the only way to get between the north end and the south end is to go through either an open corridor in the back that's behind kind of a scary looking fenced area, or a completely open breezeway in the front of the school that's right next to traffic and Oak Street, and anyone can just come in. So it's not safe for our students, it's not comfortable. How many times have you guys been outside and it's raining and the wind is blowing sideways, and they're doing this transition during the day? And the bus and traffic flow issues. Has anyone been on Oak Street between 7:30 and 8:30 in the morning, or 2:30 and 3:30 in the afternoon? Or do you avoid it purposely?
Yes, don't go.
Do not go. So that is another issue. We know about the backup. We're working on that. And I'm going through these fast because I know a lot of you have heard it, but if you have other questions or want more specific information, let me know. So we made, based on all of that, based on our outreach and the feedback we got, we made a recommendation in January to the school board for a full district campus improvement project. So this includes a new high school. It includes a high school that will improve learning and instructional spaces. It will address the traffic issues. It will improve the athletic facilities, public access to some of the school facilities. And it will also allow us to renovate the elementary school to address the issues that I just discussed. And here's the cost. It's a big sticker, and we know that. We are aware that the cost is high. We have been very intentional about keeping our eye on the costs throughout this project. When we were working, we being the Facilities Advisory Committee, we started talking about what do we need, and talking about all the things we needed to do to improve our buildings, and it was getting so cost prohibitive, we knew the community would never be able to bear that cost. So we ended up capping it, and you probably heard last fall the number we were throwing out was $3 per thousand of assessed value. That was our cap. So we knew we didn't want to ask for more than that, and we kind of worked backwards to see what can we get for something we think the community can support. So that is the number up at the top. It is a big number, but we also won the lottery for the third time for a state matching grant of 6.16, right? Is it 6.1 somewhere in there? It's a $6.1 million matching grant if we pass the bond in the next election cycle. So if we can pass it in May, it brings the number down low enough that with the reassessed values from November, we're looking at $2.75 per thousand of assessed value. So it has come down 25 cents already from what we were talking about in the fall. It's a better plan, and we expect this. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball, but we expect this to be the highest number you will see. So as the new schools bring more people into the community, the tax base will grow and the number will come down for everyone as there's more people to share the cost. So we do expect that to come down. That's what we saw with the middle school. This should be the highest number that we see. And when we get to the end, I'll show you where you can find out how much it will cost you. So this is the graphic. I'm sorry, Lori, do you want to talk?
No,
Okay.
I you are doing such a great job. I'm interested. I'm
Okay.
captivated. Yes, I'm loving it. I will help answer any questions, so I feel like I'm
Perfect.
just
You
standing
can
here,
feel
but
questions.
I'm loving listening.
Like, give me a mic.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay, this is architect's rendering. This is not to scale. This is not the design of the building, but rather than the southeast field where we were initially talking about putting the building, it's going to be built in the unused field next to the football stadium behind the middle school. So that field was condemned for a long time. It's where they buried all of the crud from building the middle school. Our maintenance teams have been working to flatten it out. It's gotten good enough that the girls' soccer team can use it for practice sometimes, but because we'll be driving 30-foot pilings down, we don't have to worry about all the junk that's in there, and it can't be used for anything else. So it's space that's available, it's space that we own, and it would allow us to unify the district campus on one block. The great thing about that is, well, there's a lot of great things. One great thing about a unified campus means if something happens on 27th Street, power lines come down, there's some kind of emergency, we don't have a split campus. We don't have students on one side, students on another. We've got all the buildings close together, so the high school is now right across a little walkway from the alternative school. So the kids who are going to Siuslaw West, it's a straight shot and it's a better chance they're going to get where they're going and they're going to come back and we can help those kids graduate. It's also right by the middle school. The high schoolers use the middle school woodshop class and they can continue to do that. So we don't have to build a new shop class. And for the teachers who split their time, there's a couple of them between the two buildings, it's just a short walk across the parking lot. What this also allows us to do is fix the traffic issues. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Let me make sure I'm talking about things that are on here. So it will be a 2-story building. You can see the stats up there. We're going to have 23 classrooms. We currently have 21 spaces in use, but not all of those spaces are meant to be classrooms. So they are small, they are cramped, they are uncomfortable, they don't allow for reconfigurations and group projects. This will give us 23 actual classrooms, so it will be comfortable, it will allow for growth in the future. It's a district property, we don't have to buy any new land. It will allow us to make some improvements to the athletic field. So we'll have the stadium, and then we're gonna have a whole athletic block, which is great because we can use the space where the high school currently sits. I'm gonna knock this mermaid over. The softball fields are gonna come here, and we can repurpose the current auxiliary gym as a field house for softball, which they do not have and have much needed for a long time. Build new soccer fields up in the corner, and with the cost savings for maintenance, we'll be able to refurbish that track in the back. Since we won't have students on this block, we expect to be able to open that up as a walking track for the community during daylight hours. So there'll be a lot more community access. It'll free up space at Miller Park on Saturdays. We'll have more green space in the community. We do have, right now it's this building, but we don't know where it'll be. We do have space in the plans for an auditorium. And I want to talk about that for a minute because I think people feel like that's an added luxury, and in fact it's more of a necessity for our students. So right now we don't have a performing space in our high school. We used to have an auditorium, I mean it's still there but it's not usable. So I did my high school plays in the high school auditorium, and that was a long time ago and it was crappy back then, and it has only gotten worse. Only half of it is usable. Our band and choir students have to fight for space with the community to perform at the event center, and they don't get to practice in the place where they perform. The acoustics in the current auditorium, of the gymnasium, I should say, at the high school are so poor they can't have any kind of educational or academic assemblies or motivational speakers. You can only hear enough to do pep rallies. So this auditorium would allow us to bring in more educational opportunities. In addition to serving as a performance space, it would also be the practice space for band and fire. So they would have a designated space and then be able to practice where they're going to perform. And we may be able to open that up for community use as well. More natural light, great. We need as much natural light as we can get here, give us all the vitamin D. And the change to traffic patterns. So this is really exciting because I'm a nerd, I guess. I don't know. This is really exciting to me. Yes. Yes.
I don't know whether anybody else is having this problem. The yellows and the purples, what are
Yes.
those?
Okay, so the purple is the proposed new high school.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
Okay.
The yellow, this yellow right here is on top of where the existing high school is. And so the
Oh,
yellow indicates the changes in this area. So they will, once the high school comes down, and this would be after the new existing,
Sure,
that
sure.
was built, then the softball fields will be moved here. Our boys currently have a varsity baseball field and a JV baseball field. And then our girls, their current field is back where the soccer fields are. And it's just one not very nice field back in the corner for our girls, which doesn't comply with Title IX in any sense of the words. They will move the softball fields here, and then we will utilize soccer fields back in that space where those are. And I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you know about our burgeoning soccer community, but we have hundreds and hundreds of kids that are playing soccer, and there's no space for them to play soccer. So we didn't have soccer for a long time.
So that's where the
It's
old
proposed
high
for some of that
school
to
is.
go.
We'll now have
Yeah.
soccer.
Yeah. So this space right here that's what they're hoping to be able to open up more for community use, because with the high school currently where the fields are and where the track is, they can't allow people onto that space during the daytime. So
Okay.
that's hopefully community space will be coming there
Yeah,
also.
I like that idea of community space. That's a good selling point.
Any other questions? Lisa?
So maybe you covered it, but we're way back here. So you're
Sorry.
saying that the removal of the old high school is included in the bond?
Correct.
But the building of moving the softball field and those other amenities on the north.
That is also
side
included.
later and is not included.
It's also included, the
included.
improvements to the athletic field. And it's minor. I mean, we have a line item budget somewhere if you want to see it. But this is all part of the current bond proposal.
The vast majority of the money is going towards building the graduation building. Very important.
Yes.
I have a comment, and it's about the financial part of this.
Sure.
And I did post this on Neighborhood, so any of you that have read it. I have a cousin in Michigan that donated $1.8 million to her high school.
What's your cousin's name and phone number?
Listen, I'm telling you this because she was working with her trust attorney. And I think that you should go to the trust attorneys here locally. They know where the money is in this town. And there are a lot of people that don't want this because they can't afford it. There are a lot of people who are looking to donate money. This would be the perfect cause. And I mean, I myself, people go, I want to donate to the animal shelter. Well, that's great, but I would rather see you donate to a high school. She gave $500,000 to Eastern University in Northern Michigan, and she gave $1.8 million to her high school where she taught. She taught there for years, but her husband had a lot of industrial. Anyway, that's where she got her money. But what a great opportunity for people right now to talk to their trust attorneys and set up some kind of a donation.
So I am a trust attorney.
Then there you go.
But I will say, and Mr. Harkleroad can speak more to this than I can, and I can connect him with you because that's his area of expertise. My understanding is in Oregon, Public government bonds are the only option for funding school construction. You can't set up donations for this type of work because it's public dollars. I can get the exact answer for you from Mike if I can get your information after.
Figure something out.
But the campaign can take donations. See me after. Any other questions? But thank you. I'm happy to hear that people are supportive of the project. We know about the cost.
Yeah, I mean, you can accumulate any amount of money to help with this.
Yes.
I just have a question about projected enrollment of, school age children. Because we're hearing that, people are not having kids anymore, and the projections in Oregon, some other areas, the numbers are going down, the incoming kindergartens for the lower grades are lower than they, how do you speak to that? If people say, well, why are you building it for so many?
So it will be a comfortable space, certainly for our current enrollment. It leaves room for growth. We do expect to see growth based on other projects like this in the community. When you build a new school, it brings people into the community. I don't have the exact figures. I don't know if you have more information. But Mike Harpo Road would. I'm sure they look at the school end of things about the population. But for what we are expecting, potentially moderate growth, we're not asking for, this is not the Taj Mahal, this is not state of the art, this is not some mansion. It is realistic for what we expect in this community to meet our student needs and have a little bit of room for growth.
And then,
Yeah.
And then the other question is always going to come up, okay, is the proposed charter school going to be siphoning off any of this money?
No. So all of the funds that go towards this are construction costs for the bond, for the elementary school renovations, and the new high school. Other questions? You guys ready to talk about traffic?
Yeah.
Yay! This is so exciting. So Lori, if you can go back to the previous slide, and if you don't have kids, you probably are not on Oak Street, and you don't care as much as I do, but what we'll be able to do, Leaving the District, owns these parcels that are kind of dotted lines with the buildings up at the top. One is the bus barn. We'll be able to reroute high school traffic off of Kingwood. So all the high school traffic will be off of Oak Street. They can come into a new parking lot, which is also where we'll be able to house the construction equipment during the building, so we won't need to find somewhere to put it. And then we're extending this road back here, and now you can go to the next slide, to come around the elementary school and funnel out on 20th Street and keep the buses off of Oak Street entirely. So they will just shoot in, go around, or 21st Street rather, go all the way around and then straight into the bus barn. And it will greatly alleviate traffic. It will allow us to open up that whole front of Oak Street for middle school and elementary school drop off and pick up. So this is the graphic for the elementary school as well. The yellow is renovations of existing structures. The purple is new construction. Sorry, I didn't mention that before. So we would, to alleviate the kindergarten issues, we would build 4 new classrooms in a green space courtyard that's in between the north and south buildings that is currently unusable because it's open to the front of the building. It's been there since I was a kid. Nobody uses it. We weren't even allowed to be on the grass. So if we put 4 new classrooms there, it keeps the natural light for the surrounding classrooms, and it allows us to bring the kindergartners inside. We'd probably put them in the 1st or 2nd grade classrooms and shift everybody over. We'll renovate this section, which is the oldest building in the district. So this is the portion of the elementary school that is not up to seismic codes. Enclose the breezeways. So here's the open breezeway I was talking about in the front. This is traffic, so the kids can come out, anybody can come in, and this back breezeway so that kids can travel between the schools in a safe and secure manner. And then we also have in the proposal a small covered play area, because currently when it's rainy, the kids have nowhere to go. They go into this structure, which is called the rainy day shed, and it's a concrete slab with open brick walls and sharp corners, and there's nothing for them to do. And I know my kids tell me, oh, we were supposed to go to the rainy day shed today, but I stayed in and read instead. And then they're sitting inside a classroom all day, and I know students and teachers alike will be happy to have somewhere for them to go with actual play equipment during the rainy days, of which we have a few. A few, I think so. Questions about elementary school? Okay. So this, we've talked about a lot of this, just kind of a summary of the benefits to students and staff. Wider range of educational opportunities. We can bring in educational speakers. We'll be able to expand our current CTE offerings and not expand them, but improve them, have more modern equipment. It's really going to improve the morale and retention of our students and teachers. So kids are going to want to stay in our schools and come to our schools. Just a better learning environment. Everything's going to be modern. It's going to be new, and it's going to be functional for everyone. Improvements of safety and security, I mean, that's huge. It speaks for itself. The facilities that will last for decades to come. So I shouldn't be here in another 50 years asking you for more bond money for a new high school. I should be happily retired by then. The school we have now should have lasted longer than it did. It was built at a time when Florence was rapidly expanding. The folks who were involved selected the lowest bidder. We have substandard equipment in there. The new school will alleviate that and should last for 75 plus years. And community benefits. So this is huge. We don't see this as a project just for the students and the teachers. We really see this as something that will benefit the whole community, attracting more businesses, attracting and retaining professional families. So I mentioned, I'm an attorney. I have 3 kids. If our high school shuts down, I can't stay here, and this is my home. People are leaving because they don't want to put their kids in our schools. Healthcare providers especially. If you've had a new physician or PA or nurse practitioner in the last 5 years, we hope that will change by having better district facilities. As I mentioned, more people should be coming to town, which will increase the tax base, which means the cost of the bond will go down by cost sharing. We talked about the green space. The high school would also function as a safe shelter. So if we have an emergency or if there is a fire and firefighters need somewhere to stay in our community, we can use the high school for that because it will be up to code. And a renewed pride in Siuslaw schools, a signal that Florence invests in its kids. I mean, if you have been to a football game or if you've been in our school and you've seen our students, you know that there are so many Viking traditions and there's Viking pride among the students, and the building doesn't match that. And we want kids to be able to go to a school that looks on the outside like the Viking pride that they feel on the inside. So just a couple of notes about some things that we are doing for our students already that having new buildings will just amplify. We have 8 CTE programs and workforce training programs. So for people who don't want a traditional degree, the CTE is nursing, woodworking, auto shop, and those will all carry over. We'll have a whole CTE wing in the new high school. We have decided to increase our graduation requirements from the state required 24 to 25 credits. And the extra credit is a half year of government, so civic learning, and a half year of personal finance, as well as return of essential skills, because we really want our Siuslaw diplomas to mean something, and we want our students to be ready to leave and be productive members of society. This is not just a grab it and go diploma. We're asking our kids to work for it. The only other district in the country that is requiring 25 credits is a school district in Connecticut. So it's them and us. So we are not making it easy, but we're making it worthwhile. Tying attendance to academics, certainly having a cafeteria will help, and then passing advisory classes. So we're investing in the students internally, and now we're just asking the community to join us in that effort. Why now? You guys have seen the gas prices, you know everything that's happening. The best time to build this school was 10 years ago. The top line is the construction cost index. The red line is building cost index, and the bottom line is the consumer price index. You can see where they're heading. This is only going to get more expensive, and the needs are only going to get worse. So if we don't pass the bond now, we're not giving up. We're going to come back out, but it's just going to get harder as costs increase. But this has to be done for our students. So now is the best time, as well as that $6 million matching grant that we have. Any questions before we go to hopefully our last slide? Oh, yay. Yes.
If the bond passes, what's the timeline for completion?
So the timeline is approximately 3 years. So we would hope to have students in the new building by 2028, 2029. I think there's a 12 to 18 month like architectural rendering design phase, and then we'd get the buildings going. But the great thing about this new plan is you don't have kids in the high school isn't going to be in a construction zone, and since we still have that portable for the elementary school, we'll be able to build the new classrooms and kind of shuffle them so it's not years of construction and renovations. Yes.
Question two, I might have been daydreaming. Did it. But who, I guess, is funding this bill? I mean, is this countywide or is this, what's the?
Oh, that's a great question. We have a slide for that. So it's the school district boundary. We'll try to find the graphic for you, but it's up north of town, not quite to Sea Lion Caves, south, past Silcoos, almost to the Douglas County border, and then east until you run into the Mapleton district. So it's not just city limits, it's the whole school district boundary.
Laurel?
Yes.
So it's one of the.
Oh, we'll see if we can do tech. Let's see if we can. Oh, we killed it. If you want to come see the graphic, come see us.
Maybe Justin can help.
We just need to unhype that.
I figured we probably would, but I didn't know. It's countywide.
Oh, we totally lost the signal. I think if we could get the.
Okay, well, come see me if you want to see that graphic. The last slide, if we can get it back up, has our website on it, which has a great FAQ section for questions we're not able to answer today. It also has this really cool feature where you can push a button that says calculate your cost. You can put in your home address, and it will tell you what your cost will be for this bond based on your current assessed tax value. And I want to say again, it is assessed value. So if you're looking at Zillow, if you're trying to sell your house, it's not that. It's going to be about 50 to 60% of that. It's the county's assessed value. And you can calculate your exact cost month and annual on our website. You can also check out testimonials. You can explore the design plans. It's Siuslawschoolbond.com is the website. It was on a slide. Siuslawschoolbond.com. And I will just note, if anybody has a few minutes after, if you want to be on our mailing list for more information, or if you want a lawn sign to put out in support of the bond, to come see me. I have sign-up sheets for that. But any other questions?
No, it's just the signal.
Yes.
So people who are renting it, they don't care about.
Well, they will because their landlords are going to raise
Right, but we know
rent.
all that, right? I mean, some people live in subsidized.
Yeah, I mean, their landlords don't have to raise.
They don't have to raise the rent.
It's limited. The landlord isn't there a state law you can't raise rents
More than.
Yeah.
More than 10% a year.
But people in subsidized housing, I mean, section,
What was the name of that?
school.
Right, so there's no reason not to vote for it.
Yeah, something I'm concerned about, Karen, is that people who own a large amount of property will calculate their numbers, and then they'll tell that number to people who do not own multiple pieces of property. And realistically, it's going to be what, like $40 to $80 a month for a household. Like, it's not. But if you have 10 houses that you own, then you're going to probably invest money in making sure this doesn't pass. So.
Yeah, so check out the website. I mean, I put my own house in. My assessed value for my house, which doesn't include my business property, is about $275,000, which is like $63 a month. And that's a no-brainer. Kids are worth it. Kids are worth it. There was another question.
Excuse me. Multi-part. So first of all, you're hearing on the radio, local radio, more anti-school bond than pro-school bond, which really annoys me. Further, I was talking to my hairstylist. She has a number of children who are going to be attending that high school in the not too distant future. And she is not for the charter school, she is for the school bond. But our conversation was about, it seems that the people who are most opposed to the school bond are those who can most afford to have their taxes increased. And how do we convince them that a more educated society benefits all of us? And just because I didn't grow up here, I don't have kids here, clearly I don't have small children, but I still believe that an educated society benefits the whole country the most. So how do we convince people who can afford it easily that they just not that it's the best thing for the world?
I mean, I think that's a great question. If you come up with an answer.
Complain most about the healthcare providers.
Yeah, I was just going to say that would be my answer.
Yeah,
my wife is a nurse practitioner, and we have made friends with so many new doctors, PAs, et cetera, that move to town, and then they leave once their kids are in the school system and they're seeing the buildings that they're like. One of my best friends just left after her kid had to do a lockdown drill in this building that has just entrances all over it. If you have to go to Eugene for a doctor, that's going to outstrip the $50 a month so fast that you would be paying for this.
I waited like 3 years after I moved here, 2 to 3 years to have a primary care physician here in town.
Yes. And really getting the information out about the benefits to the whole community is something we'll be hitting pretty hard. I will also say just stay on the lookout. There will be a lot more marketing materials from our team, from our kids. We're just waiting till it's a little bit closer to the ballot so that people don't tune it out. Lori?
I was going to say, I think I would probably put myself in the category. This is going to cost my family greatly. I have 2 sons that have graduated from Siuslaw, and I have one that is graduating this year. And that has been my goal, is to try to figure out how to convince people what a value it is to our community. That this isn't just a value to our families. We do real estate. That is our business here in town. And we do take these incoming physicians with families and we give them a tour of our community. And you drive them by our high school and say, this is the future for your kids. And it's not good. You know, we've had many say, oh, you know, I don't know about that. I don't know if this is a place I want to be. I know that we also had a professional that was in a larger institution here that moved here, but he didn't bring his high school age kids. He left them somewhere else because he didn't want to bring them to our schools.
That's sad.
It's sad. And we want to help encourage people, and part of that is us talking to you. We may not have all the answers, but we want to give you as much information so that each person goes out and talks to another person. You know, they say that one person affects 7 other people. So if you take any of the information you've gained today, a yard sign, you know, get on our email list, come canvassing with us. We would appreciate all the support we could get from all of you in word and in action, and any dollars that you're willing to give to our campaign to help us get that word out better. We would really appreciate it. So the question you ask is, I think it's the $1 million question. How do we talk people into parting with their money to benefit the whole, not just themselves?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other? Yes. Yeah, so we hope to have the buildings open in the 2028-2029 school year if it passes in the May election. So it would be about half of that would be drafting, and then half that time would be construction, is the estimate.
When would this go into effect? Would it be immediate?
Yes, so as soon as if it passes in May, we would be able to hire an architect, start the drafting process, and kick it off.
And the assessment to the individuals.
So the assessment is done by the county annually. When you get your tax bills, they reassess everyone's property in August, and then there's a company that calculates the bond rates based on the county assessment. So it would be done on an annual basis, and you see in your property tax statements whether there are any changes. Yeah, yes.
Well, the cost of construction is going up, but the cost of housing's coming down.
Oh, well, and I should say the numbers that we have, so we have budgeted for 2028 inflation costs for construction. So we have tried to build that into our estimate. So that you shouldn't see the bond number, again, I don't have a crystal ball. You should never see the 275 going up. It should only come down. We've tried to plan for the contingencies in the future. Anything else? Other questions? Thank you so much for having us. This was great. Come see us if you want more information or if you want to sign up.
All right.